This season of Cooking Hawaiian Style is presented by the University of Hawaii Maui College. There's a place for you.
Welcome to another edition of Cooking Hawaiian Style, presented by the University of Hawaii Maui College. Oh, today we got a very special guest. He's one of my favorites, by the way. He'll be joining us, Chef Richard Ramirez, cooking up some good stuff. Let's get cooking.
When you're living on the island, such a diverse Hawaii, when you've tasted all the flavors from the mountain to the sea, we're cooking Hawaiian style. Oh, Hawaiian style. Oh, cooking Hawaiian style. Oh, Hawaiian style. Oh, we're cooking Hawaiian style.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the kitchen, Chef Richard Ramirez. How you?
I'm doing good, brother.
Nice to see you.
again.
He doesn't know, but he's one of my favorite chefs. I first met him right
you.
here at the Fairmont
Yes,
Kea
sir.
Lani, and
Yes,
you
sir.
always take care of me. How long
My
you been
pleasure.
cooking?
Oh gosh, going on 40 years now.
Really?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
you're
sir.
45, 46?
42.
42? Yeah. And what would you say your most favorite thing to cook is?
I have to say it's stuff that really tells a story to my heart. So things that my mom and dad used to make.
Yeah.
And the chefs that I've worked with throughout the years, it's things that inspired me from them. That's what really makes my heart warm when I cook and think about them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
it's kind of gone full circle because I met you from Chef Pang.
That's right.
And Chef Pang, of course, is no longer with us, but he put all of this together somehow, not being
did.
here. Showed me this property, showed me this spot, and says, you should do your cooking show right here. And look, we're here
And here we are.
5 years later or
It's
whatever.
funny how things come full circle.
Yeah, totally. What are you making today?
Today we're gonna make something, and this actually ties in with Chef Peng because we're doing a typical Mexican dish that I grew up eating. But the thing that Chef Peng used to tell me all the time, cook from the heart,
Yeah.
cook from the heart.
Nice.
So this way, if you're cooking Portuguese food, Korean food, Japanese food, Filipino, no matter, main thing you cook from the heart,
Yeah.
always gonna come out ono.
Right on. I can't wait to try it. See how you make this, because every time I stay at the hotel, you make this for me.
That's right.
It's not even on the menu.
Cool.
What do we need, Chef?
Let's do it. We're gonna start off, I just wanna mention there's several different ways of making chilaquiles.
Yeah.
But for me, I never use the store-bought
Store-bought.
tortilla kind, right?
Yeah.
I always do my tortillas fresh.
Okay.
So I fry it in a little bit of hot oil. Another
right.
secret for my chilaquiles too is I always want to get some nice color on there. In other words, if it's got a little bit of black, that's okay with me,
Yeah.
man, because that's where your flavor is gonna come in.
Yeah, I
so
like
we're gonna
that.
get our tortillas going there, get some color on that. And then I also have a lot of aromatic vegetables.
Okay.
Namely, we're using local Maui onions. We're using camoela tomatoes
Nice.
today. I'm actually using some upcountry Thai chilies today.
Okay.
So that's all gonna flavor our chilaquiles. And we're adding another local twist. We're gonna put some kalua pork to finish
I like
off
that. I
today.
like that.
Yeah.
And you know, we've been doing this show for a long time, and a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of people involved in this show. You know, we got a camera crew and sound and a whole kitchen crew. And Chef Ramirez has been running our kitchen behind the scenes. And I told the producer, we got to get Chef on here. He's so talented. So I'm glad you've been sweating all day, like camping from 5 o'clock in the morning, putting all the chefs, getting them ready to do the show. And now we had to get you in front of the camera.
It's all good.
Yeah,
I
and
really
you still look alive.
thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to help you and your team out. It's been a blessing, really, to be with you.
I got your trash right here.
Thank you
Okay,
so
I'll throw
much.
it away for you.
Shoot.
No, you're awesome. And it's not easy, you know. A lot of people don't realize how much time and effort things take to put this together. You know, so there's a lot of moving parts, right?
It is. But I have to tell you, we're blessed to be working here at the Fairmont Kea Lani,
Yeah.
where I've made a number of wonderful relationships, and everybody's so warm, full of aloha over here,
Yeah.
and they really helping us out a lot. So it's pretty wonderful. Yeah.
And you are doing your career is taking
Yeah.
another turn.
So as we mentioned, you know, things come full circle. So for 18 years when I was here at the Fairmont Kea Lani, we developed a really strong relationship with the culinary program at
Yes.
UHMC.
Yeah.
And I always, in the back of my mind, I thought, you know what, I always want to get involved with that program some way, somehow. And lo and behold, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I got a phone call from one of the chef instructors, and they said, we got a position open. It's going to be a kind of a catering chef type of position. And I said, I'm in, man. because
Congratulations.
It really, it's really important to me that I work with the students and work with other chefs as well.
I mean, you work with so many chefs. There's a lot of amazing, talented chefs here on Maui, especially.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They're like pumping them out.
I've had the honor of working with a lot of the top chefs, but I have to tell you, Chef Peng, he was my chef.
Yeah. He's been mentioned so many times, even from chefs that don't work here.
Yeah.
You know, he's been mentioned so many times, so we know how good he is to everybody here on the island.
Absolutely.
All right, so what did you put in there, chef?
So we have, as I said, Maui onion, camoela tomatoes, some bell peppers. And here's the thing, you know, I've made this dish so many times and I've actually tamed it down.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, you lose the integrity if you don't have the chile. You have to have that hot spice in there.
All right.
It's like we talked the other day about when you make adobo and you get the peppercorn inside.
Yeah.
My grandma, she makes picadillo. It's a very famous dish. And she always used to leave the whole stalks of cinnamon, the sticks
the
of
whole
cinnamon
thing in there?
inside. And we used to get so mad at her. But then nowadays, even when I make it, I gotta
put it in there. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna finish up this dish, so don't go anywhere. Chef Richard Ramirez hanging out with us. It's Cooking Hawaiian Style.
This episode of Cooking Hawaiian Style is brought to you by the University of Hawaii Maui College and chefs from its Culinary Arts program.
Welcome back to Cooking Hawaiian Style. We have Chef Richard Ramirez here. We got your Chilaquiles going.
That's right.
And you have so many different ways. Do you make this the same way all the time?
Personally, I do. I know there's 1,000 different ways to make things, but as I said earlier, this is the way my grandma used to make it. This is the way moms used to make it. So I know there's variations with salsa roja, salsa verde, but this is my rustic way. It's not the prettiest thing to look at, but what it lacks for in appearance, it makes for flavor.
This thing is a winner. I like it with eggs for sure.
Yes, it's a typical breakfast dish.
Cutting up some tomatoes now.
A little bit of local style.
What's your favorite local food to eat?
You know, I'm very partial to Filipino food.
Are you?
It could be because, you know, Filipino, they get the Spanish background too.
Yeah.
So,
we had an argument. I had an argument with our director the other day. He asked me what I was. I said, I'm Filipino, Italian, Hawaiian, Chinese. He said, well, then you're Spanish. How come you don't say you're Spanish?
No. Everybody in Hawaii, even my wife,
Hispanic.
Get like
he said, how come you're not
everything.
Hispanic? That's what he said. Why don't you say you're Hispanic? I said, well, I'm Filipino. That's why. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
all the people that came over, worked the plantation.
Right.
That's what makes up what Hawaii is today.
Yeah, some of our greatest chefs, boy, too, are Filipino or Spanish or Hispanic influence.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
And actually, if we're talking history, Kamehameha actually brought over the pañuelo from Mexico to work the cattle. So you cannot tell me that one of those guys never loved this place where we live and said, I'm staying here. So guarantee we get some over here.
No, there was a lot, and they introduced us to the guitar.
That's
they would sit around the campfires and they would play music. And the Portuguese, some of them came with the Spanish, and they brought beef, right?
Yes.
And they brought us the ukulele. So there's so many different
Absolutely.
pies. What did you put in there, chef?
Sir, I had a little bit of dry chili that just gives it a little bit more flavor.
Okay.
Some Hawaiian salt and some black pepper. Now I'm going to hit it with some chicken stock.
Okay.
You can just use canned chicken broth, is okay. So here's my secret with my chilaquiles.
Yes.
Normally when you serve in the restaurant, it's fairly dry.
Yeah.
Mine's are borderline soupy. They call that sopa, right? So we want to get a little bit of broth going in there.
Okay.
And
you always use chicken broth?
Yes, sir. Always use chicken broth. Once that comes to a slight boil there, what I'm going to do is add I like to use Monterey Jack cheese.
Okay.
This one has a little bit of cheddar mixed with the Monterey Jack. And then what I do is as it steams and as it comes to a boil, it's gonna start melting the cheese.
I'll take this from you.
Here's another kind of a little secret whether you're cooking Asian food, Mexican food, whatever. Whatever your garnish is that you wanna finish off at the last, you also wanna include it in your cooking process because you're developing those same flavors.
Nice.
Right?
Nice tip.
So I take half of my garnish always, whether it's green onion, garlic, whatever. Put half of it into the cooking process, develop those flavors, and then we can always use that again for the
other
final
half
product.
for plating. I like that.
That's correct.
All right, the full recipe is going to be on our website, cookinghawaiianstyle.com. And I got to say, Chef made this for breakfast for me this morning. and I was in heaven. I was
Right
so
on, man.
busted up today from being in the sun all day yesterday. My eyes were burnt. Everything was burnt. That's why I'm wearing shades today. And then you said, hey, I made you something for breakfast.
That's right.
I woke up.
That's right.
I can't find this in Honolulu.
You cannot.
Nope.
Really? I thought
If anybody wants to
would've
write
had-
in, where can we make this in Honolulu? Let me know.
Well, you know where to find me, my
I
brother.
know. Now I just gotta come to Maui. And
Yes,
get it.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, you come to Honolulu sometimes.
I do. I
Yeah.
do. And yeah, I'll look you up for sure. And then
Yeah.
let's do it. Man.
Last time we hung out, we went to. I was trying to figure out Wild Orange.
We did. Yeah.
We went to Wild Orange together. Had a couple cocktails.
Yeah. Good fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Good fun we had.
All right. So how long are you gonna let that go?
So as I said, I want to still have a little bit of bitey texture to my tortillas, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't want it to be crunchy. So you got to find that happy medium. Once you see it come into a boil, and once you see your tortillas starting to soften up a little bit, that's the point where you want to be at.
Okay.
As I said, though, we're going to put a little bit of local twist to it. So we're going to use some Kalua pork to
All right.
add to that.
Okay.
If you want to just get from your supermarket the pre-made kind, that's fine.
Okay. We have
Heat
about a
'em up.
minute left. You want to go ahead and start plating? or
Yeah,
is it
let's
too
start
early?
plating. Let's
Okay.
do it, man.
Go
So
for
as
it.
you can see, the cheese is nice and melted already.
Nice. Yes.
Brother,
Look at
do I get
that.
a spoon? Maybe a
Yes,
spoon
I'll
is
give
better,
you a
the big
spoon.
one.
You want a big one? Is
Yeah.
this too small? Get you a bigger one. How about this?
Wonderful. Mahalo.
There you go.
So everybody can see the juices have started to what we
Yes.
call in the business marry, yeah, come together, yeah.
Yes, there you go. That
But
looks
again, you know,
awesome.
I can't emphasize enough. Doesn't matter what kind of food you cook, as long as you're cooking with the heart. What I learned
Yeah.
from Chef Pang
Yes.
is that that's the
All
most
right.
important thing.
We're gonna put the Kalua pig on there, and that's gonna be the finished product right there, guys. Look at that.
A little bit
Beautiful.
of Kalua pork on top.
You wanna put some of this too?
I'm gonna put
Can I
some
help
of that.
you?
Please do, sous chef.
All right. Heard. All right, that's like that. Beautiful. When we come back, Chef, what are you gonna make?
We're gonna do a dish that Chef Pang actually and myself actually came up when we opened up the brunch here at Cole several years ago. Our Asian braised short rib loco moco.
It's the #1 seller. Don't go anywhere. It's cooking Hawaiian style.
This episode of Cooking Hawaiian Style is brought to you by Fairmont Kea Lani and Hawaiian Air Cargo.
Welcome back to Cooking Hawaiian Style. We have Chef Richard Ramirez here. What are you gonna make next, Chef?
Next, we're gonna make a dish that Chef Pang and myself created for the Cole brunch, which we run every Sunday here at the Fairmont Kea Lani.
Yeah.
We wanted to make a loco moco, but we wanted to do, you know, little upgrade. So we have an Asian braised short rib that we feature at Cole.
This thing's a killer.
But Chef came up with the dish, a loco moco, but a little bit upgraded.
Yeah.
Nice little garnishes, and people seem to love it.
Oh man, it's a killer. I love it.
Right
I'll be
on.
full and I still eat it.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
What do we need to get going?
So we have our beef short ribs here. You use beef short ribs. We actually use what they call flat meat here.
Okay.
But you can ask for beef short rib at your local supermarket or butcher. I'm gonna season this liberally. Got some nice flake salt.
Okay.
And then for me personally, I always like to use fresh ground pepper
Okay.
all the time.
Do you like to like experiment at home? Are you those type of guy like to try all different things?
Actually, at home, not so much. At home, it's more about spam and rice, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Hot dogs and cabbage
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. I got to keep the family happy and keep
Uh,
them fed.
Yeah.
The experimentation would normally come when I was at work.
Yeah.
Come in before you're supposed to start.
Yeah.
You know, go in the kitchen, play around, you know. And countless times I saw Chef Pang in there, you know, just cooking. That was his biggest joy, you know.
Yeah.
And he'd just be quiet and cooking, but you could tell he was in his element, and he
Right.
he was so happy.
What do you like to cook?
You know, interestingly enough, I like Southern Italian food.
Really?
In other words, something that's really stick to the ribs kind,
Yeah.
you know, also buco,
Yeah.
all of those nice pastas and such.
Uh-huh.
To me, slow cooking products
Yeah.
take a long time, braise them in red wine, tomato. That's my jam right there.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Some of your favorite restaurants here in Maui.
You know, oddly enough, chefs are very funny, right? They don't always go to the fancy places.
Yeah, of course.
They go to the local style
Yeah.
places. So personally, my favorite restaurant is Paradise Supermarket, man, where I can
Really?
get a choice of 20 different Filipino items
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
at my
Man,
at
I
my
haven't
wish.
been there forever.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cafe Au Lait restaurants always does really well, especially at the Mill House. They do a nice product.
Uh-huh.
And small little places like Cafe 808 in Wailuku, my hometown of Wailuku town.
Yeah.
Really small places, but they consistently put out good food.
I've
It
been-
doesn't have to be fancy, but good. Yeah.
I've been asking all the chefs that come on this because we're having all our chefs from Maui and
Uh-huh.
our cooks where their favorite places to go are. So when people
Sure.
come to visit Maui, they support the little local restaurants.
You got
know?
to. You got to.
Yeah. So
That's
you're gonna
truly
sear.
important.
You're just gonna sear those.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sear these. Little bit windy today, so
Yeah.
I wish I had a little more color on these. But generally speaking, super hot surface. You want to get a nice color on there.
Okay.
But what we're gonna do is sear them, and then we're gonna add another one of Chef Peng's inventions. Really, it's he was a big recipe gentleman.
Yeah.
So everything had to be by recipe for the consistency.
Yeah.
So that's something I learned from Chef Peng.
Nice.
But one of his things was a Korean sauce. Very simple, equal parts of shoyu, sugar.
Uh-huh.
You have some sesame oil in there. Also the three Korean kings, right? You got garlic, ginger, red chili flake.
The 3 Korean kings.
That's the one. yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna sear off our short ribs. We're gonna put our Korean sauce.
Okay.
Upstairs, what they do is they put a demi-glace to kind of give it a thickening agent.
Yes.
However, at home, I think what you should do is make what we call a slurry,
Yes.
which is cornstarch and water, and add that later on to your dish
to thicken it up. Yeah. A lot of people ask, where does the Loco Moco come from? And is it Hawaiian? It's not Hawaiian. It's very island style though, because it was created in Hawaii.
That's
now,
correct.
there's a couple of different stories. The one I hear the most is a couple of surfers on the Big Island. They say it started in the Big Island, went surfing, came in, didn't have much money. The restaurant was closed, and an auntie was in there and said, look, I have some rice. I can make you a burger. And then one of the guys said, can you put gravy on top? And she said, yeah. And then she said, well, you know what, let me crack an egg on it. And they
Yeah.
called it a Loco Moco. And that's really where it came from. And it's interesting how in Japan, they are looking for the best Loco Mocos in Hawaii.
Is that
And then
the
now
big
they
thing,
have
yeah?
Loco Moco restaurants in Japan.
Yeah.
That's how popular
Well,
it
the
is.
world's greatest dishes were always came out of necessity.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
let's put this and this together, and then it come out. I actually was born and raised in San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
So the typical San Francisco dish is what they call Joe's Special. Hamburger, spinach, mushroom, throw some eggs in there.
I've had that.
That's the one, man.
We're gonna
That's my
come back.
favorite.
We gotta take a quick break. We're gonna finish up this Loco Moco, so don't go anywhere. Chef Richard Ramirez is hanging out with us. It's Cooking Hawaiian Style.
This episode of Cooking Hawaiian Style is brought to you by Lanai's Travel Club.
Welcome back to Cooking Hawaiian Style. Chef Richard Ramirez. How long has that the short rib been going in there?
So short rib, minimum 1 hour, oven 325, covered preferably to let the thing get nice and tender.
Yeah, you want it to go slower.
That's correct.
And you got to pick a fatty meat, don't you?
You need fat in this meat. Yeah, you don't want it to be too lean.
Yeah. So if you're on a diet, don't even think about trying to make it. Let's see what this looks like, because you did one already.
I did one already.
Look at that.
And this one, I took the liberty of slicing it for easier plate up.
Yeah.
But certainly it's soft enough that if you want to shred it or spoon
Right.
it over, it'll work as well.
That looks amazing. It smells good, man.
And you can see that the sauce has reduced down a little bit. A little bit of cornstarch, as I mentioned, just for that nice sheen at the end. But it looks like it's ready
It
to go.
looks
Beautiful,
good.
nice and
Yeah.
tender.
How many of these do you think you guys did for a week? How many of these you do a week?
Oh gosh, you're talking about 100-pound case every 2 days. So probably 500 pounds a week. Yeah.
That's how good it is. You have to come and try it. All right, you want to start plating?
Yeah, we can start plating. I'm gonna start some eggs
yeah, we gotta get some
over to
eggs.
the side.
It's not a moco unless we put the eggs on
Not a
there.
moco unless it's
Yeah.
got the eggs, right?
Look, he's showing off with the one hand, guys. He's showing off with the one hand.
You know how many egg yolks I even break?
When you go to culinary school, is there like a class for egg breaking?
Egg breaking 101?
Is there a class?
No.
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 Scrambling? Egg. You know what I was always told, that's why. If you work in the business and you do a restaurant and you open for breakfast,
Yes.
you can single-handedly ruin a person's day if they want over easy and the yolk is cracked,
Oh,
or they
some
want
people
sunny
are
side
very
up.
particular
Yeah,
about their eggs.
I
yeah.
am.
Yeah.
You know, because I love over easy.
Right.
So it's like if you said, "Can I have coffee?" and you get with sugar and cream, and there's no sugar, it throws
Right.
off your coffee, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm kind of grumpy
And
if
then
my
when
eggs
I
are
was
broken.
when I was coming up as a young apprentice, people used to have terms like coddled and basted and
Yeah.
like 15 different preparations. And you're right. If you didn't get it right, oh boy, you had to make it 2 more times.
You need any oil over there? You good?
No, we good.
Okay. And we got some rice here.
Yes, sir. So we're gonna start plating up now.
Okay.
Uh,
While you're doing that, I'm gonna try this chilaquiles.
go for it, man.
Can you tell us real quick again how you make this? You can just give us a basic
The
rundown.
chilaquiles?
Yes.
Yeah. Again, so make sure you fry your tortillas. Use fresh corn
Ooh.
tortillas. Yeah. You always use fresh corn tortillas. Don't be afraid to get a little bit of color on that. If you got a little bit of some black specks, that's okay. That's
Yeah.
where your flavor is gonna come in.
That is so good. It's
and
so
you always
balanced.
wanna, when you cut stuff, no go for the uniform. Everything look exactly the same. It has to
Make
be
'em all-
natural. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That is very good.
mahalo, brother.
Very
Thank you very
good.
much.
Yes.
So Chef Peng's take on this one was to add some kimchi, little condiment on the side.
Okay. Kimchi. Gotta have
Kimchi.
kimchi.
Yes, sir. Kimchi,
Love kimchi.
little condiment,
So good, healthy for you.
and then the old French term from back in the day was nappe. And
Nappe?
nappe simply means your sauce is nappe.
Oh,
it's
you
kind of the
gotta
way
have-
it's
Yeah.
presented
I call that
and
sabao.
flow over the
Yes. That looks like a winner right there.
mahalo, brother. And
You
then
gotta have kimchi and that egg.
when you garnish, always think of what color is gonna pop the most, and
Uh-huh.
that's the last thing you put on.
Nice.
So as you can see here, we got a beautiful little garnish of some Korean chili threads.
Okay.
We're gonna put that on top. And as I just said, you're looking at the color that's gonna pop. In this case, it's gonna be green onions.
Yeah.
In your case at home, it could be sesame seeds, it could be tobiko.
Yeah.
And then we're just gonna, you can see you got the pop, right? The
Right.
pop. That's what it's all
Yes.
about, is the pop.
I like it.
And then
You should be a, what do you call it? Teacher. Oh, you
Ah.
are. Yes, you're gonna be a teacher.
I'm
I
just
forgot.
looking forward to working with students, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. The
So
egg.
the
Look
egg
at
on the
that.
side.
Beautiful.
One more egg.
I told him to make 3 because I love eggs.
You know that,
Yeah.
brother.
There you go.
There you are.
That looks really
That is
good,
our
Chef.
Asian braised short rib loco moco.
And that bugger just falls apart. That thing just fell
yeah.
apart.
It's tender. And as I said, I know I sound like a broken record, but this is all in for honor of my chef, Chef
Yeah.
Peng, Paling Peng.
Yes. So awesome. Amazing. We're going to get the full recipe on our website, cookinghawaiianstyle.com. Any advice for a young student who wants to go to culinary school?
Yes.
Take up cooking.
Yes, never do this.
Never
Always
step-
keep busy.
Yeah.
Always keep busy.
Wipe something.
That's how I came up. Always keep busy no matter what.
Do
Always.
it. Show them again. Never do what?
Never do this.
Thank you so much for coming
It's
on
been
the
my
show.
pleasure, man.
You are awesome.
Appreciate you.
Chef Richard Ramirez, ladies and gentlemen. Are you on the gram or Facebook? Or
I am RRR Maui.
RRR Maui. Give them a follow. Amazing food. Thank you guys for watching. Go visit our website, cookinghawaiianstyle.com. Mahalo for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. Ahui ho.